Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. My name is Marv Fikes Jr. This is Become the Podcast. How do you become anything you dream, you declare, you commit, and success is your next breath. We are listening to the sounds of Leslie Odom Jr. Leslie Odom Jr. was in the hit play Rent, which was a phenomenon in terms of theater, and he was also in Hamilton. And so he is an actor / singer. And he does, I want to say it's jazz, but when you listen to his self-titled recording, it's just, when you listen to it, it's Leslie Odom Jr. and he has some different things going on. I kind of want to say he's like the black Michael Bublé, but Michael Bublé is very much so jazz, and I think Leslie is some jazz, but he's some other things too. Not really quite sure what he is, but his music is amazing. And so, as you can see, I now have music playing in the background again. Before my technology was all over the place and didn't have a chance to. I wasn't allowed to have music playing in the background, and so now I have that texture in the background that hopefully gives the podcast a little bit more of a cool feel. So let's jump into it. I'm having dinner last week with my neighbors, and there was a conversation taking place about the lack of decision making in this person's family. So the person was saying, my husband's going to go out of town, and so we said, why aren't you all going out of town? He says, well, I can't be around my husband's family because they can't make decisions. They can't make decisions without Scott. Scott was the husband that was going out of town. She said, they can't make decisions without Scott, and it annoys me. And when Scott's there, they can't move until Scott tells them what to do. And so the conversation became centered around decision making. And so I began to laugh, and Sarah and I began to laugh because I am very much so an advocate for decision making. You know what I'm saying? And if no one else wants to make a decision, then I make the decision for everyone. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, if there are people who want to make the decision, then good, we can negotiate. But I'm not going to waste an opportunity to make a decision. I have a line in my book that says, successful people never waste an opportunity to make a decision. Whether it's a 1 cent decision or it's a multi-million-dollar decision, they're going to make decisions, right? So if it's a 1 cent decision or if it's a multi-million-dollar decision, if a successful person will always make a decision if given the opportunity to. And you can only do that through repetition, through conditioning yourself to always think about what it is you want so you can make a decision. I got another line that this is not mine, but the line is 2% of people are thinking, 3% of people think they're thinking, and 95% of people would die if they had to think. 2% of people are thinking, 3% of people think they are thinking, and 95% of people would die if they had to think. When you talk about the world's wealth, okay, they're talking about from a financial standpoint, but they always say that it's about 2% or some really, really small percentage. Well, those are the people that are thinking. But then there's so many people that don't have what they want that can be represented within that 95%, because those are the people that rather someone think for them. All right. Those are the people that rather people decide what they're going to do every single day. But there's a small group of people that say, I'm going to decide what I'm going to do every day. Now, I might be working for a company, I might be working for a brand, I might be working for someone, but I'm deciding to do this. I like this work. This work makes me happy. This work makes me feel valuable. And no matter what the decision is, they're deciding, like, this is what I want to do. This is what I get up to do every single day. I love this. But there's so many people who get up every single day upset, anger, bitter, jealous, whatever the case may be, because they will not decide what they want to do, or they will not think long enough, right? The 95% who would die if they had to think won't think long enough to figure out what it is they really want to experience, what they want to do, right? So what ends up happening is, because they are unwilling to think about what it is they want, then they don't have an idea of what they want, so they don't even have an opportunity to actually decide which direction they want to go. So there's so many people in this world who just won't make decisions, but a lot of times they won't make decisions because they refuse to think. So in order for you to be happy, you got to be a part of that 2% that thinks, what do I want? What I want to experience? What I want for myself? What I want for my family? What do I want for the people close to me? What do I want them to experience? Right? But that requires thinking first. It requires thinking first. And then once you think about what it is you want, and you have all these different ideas, all these pictures and clusters of what you want, now you have to make a decision. And once you make that decision, the next part, which I'm not going to get into, but you have to hold yourself accountable to make sure that you do everything you can to now achieve those things that you said that you wanted, or those things that you decided upon. So this podcast is just a quick reminder about the importance of decision making. And so before I get into my 3 points of contact, I urge you, get into the practice of making decisions. When somebody gives you an opportunity to make a decision, someone asks you a question about what you want or what you want to experience, or what you never, ever waste an opportunity and say, well, whatever. I always give the example of somebody riding in the car with their buddy and they're saying, listen, man, I'm hungry. And the other person says, really, you hungry? Okay. What do you want? And the person says, man, whatever. So they drive past several restaurants, and every time they drive past a restaurant, the person says, hey, would you want to go here? The person says, nah, I'm good. They pass another restaurant, say, hey, would you want to go here? The guy says, nah, I'm good. Finally, they get to a destination where the person who's asking the question, what do you want? They then decide, right? And then the person who was asked the question before, what do you want? They get upset. And now the other person is saying, well, listen, man, I gave you an opportunity to make a decision. You told me, let's get whatever. I passed several restaurants and said, do you want to go here? You said no. Now, the second that I make a decision, now you want to be up in arms about the decision that I made. That happens to so many people. And it happens to all of us. We've all been the person who did make a decision, and then when the decision was made, we were upset. So I've taken the stance that I'm going to make a decision. I'm going to make myself happy regardless. Now, there's going to be some times when my decisions are going to make me 100% happy, right? But there's going to be other times when I won't get to 100% because I have to compromise, and that's okay too. I can't be absolutely 100% happy every single time. There's going to be times when I'm going to have to compromise. I'm married. I have children. You know what I'm saying? I'm a part of different teams. Sometimes I end up on a project and I have a team members, and someone says, listen, do we want lunch? When do we want to have lunch? What do we want to eat for lunch? How do we want to tackle this project? And so I have an opportunity to give my opinion. But then there might be somebody else who thinks exactly like me. Now, when that happens, now we have to see if we can negotiate. So maybe I get half of what I want, you get half of what you want. But at the end of the day, we're not completely unhappy, but at least we had an opportunity to negotiate for what it is we wanted to experience. And if I get half of what I want and another person gets half of what they want, I'm okay with that. But I'll be really upset if I had an opportunity to make a decision and didn't, and then someone made a decision and got 100% of what they want, and what they want is nothing of what I want. Now I got a problem on my hands. Now I'm upset. Now I'm regretful, right? And who knows how that impacts my behavior. So there's going to be some times when you want something and you have to compromise. That's okay. But every time you get an opportunity to make a decision about what you want, you have to take full advantage of it. Sounds like a broken record, but it's the truth. Because so many of us avoid or miss the opportunity to make a decision. There's three things that can happen. There's three benefits of making decisions. There's many benefits, but I'll just give you three. The first benefit to making a decision is, number one, you have an opportunity to make yourself happy. By simply thinking about what it is you want to experience, what it is you want, you give yourself a chance to get it. It could be something as simple as, what do you want on your pizza? Where do you want to go eat? Where do you want to go shop? Where do you want to go vacation? There's a bunch of different, look, there's several ways that we can approach this project. Mark, what do you want? How do you want to approach the project? Who do you want to work with? Who do you want on your team? Who do you want your partner to be? There's going to be some times when you don't have a decision at all. Sometimes things are just random. That's fine. But the second that I get an opportunity to make a decision, you got to make a decision, because that's the best way to make yourself as happy as possible. And again, you may not always get to 100. That's fine. But if you're at 0, you can get to 50. Okay, make the decision and get to 50. It's better than being at 0. You may be at 0 and you might be able to make a decision that gets you to 75. Okay, hey, it's not 100, but it's better than 0. So make yourself happy. Put yourself in a position to make yourself comfortable as possible, to make yourself as happy as possible, and simply make a decision. Think about it. Think about it. Think about, what do I want? What do I want? What will make me happy? And then go from there. The second thing that it does is you activate the universe to conspire to assist and serve you. People may not believe it, but this whole universal thing, universal laws, and the idea that that through words and through thoughts and through feelings we can manipulate the world to kind of assist and serve us. We have some power or some authority over the universe that is actually really a universe where once we start deciding what it is we want, we can actually make things happen in our favor. The only way that you experience that is through activating your authority, through activating your voice, through activating your mind and deciding, what do I want? And before long, things start shifting and moving so that they can so that you can get what you want. And sometimes the universe doesn't necessarily give you what you want, but it gives you an opportunity to achieve and earn it. So say, for instance, you want that car. Okay, you might have a job, but the job might have an opportunity for you to make some extra money through overtime or whatever the case may be. Are you willing to now work for it? So we can't just assume that just because we want something that the universe is going to just put that in our backyard or put that in our front yard or put that in our possession. A lot of times you're going to get an opportunity to achieve it. You may want something and maybe you get an opportunity to get a degree or get a certification that will put you in position to get promoted, which will give you an opportunity to make more money, which gives you an opportunity to save, which gives you an opportunity to get what it is you want. But you have to be able to think along those lines. You can't just assume that just because I wanted something, I'm going to get it. Now, there might be times when you have enough money and it's out there. Whatever you want is out there. It's rare. But you have the means, and so it's a matter of, I really want that. And are you willing to wait a year? Are you willing to wait 2 years? Are you willing to wait 3 years, 5 years? Are you willing to wait to get that? Some people want a car, an automobile when they're in their 20s. They don't get it till in their 50s. But if you want it really bad, you'll get it. You'll get it. Somebody somewhere is preserving and keeping something up to date just so that you can have it. But you just got to be willing to wait. You got to be willing. You have to, and also you have to be patient, because sometimes the universe wants to see just how bad you want it. How bad are you willing to work for it? So that's why you got to be all about. If you really want something, you got to be all about it, because it might put you through the ringer. But if you want it bad enough, you can get it. But it starts by, number one, deciding what you want, and number two, you have to ask for it, man. Ask and you shall receive. But make sure that you are also able to take on whatever the mechanism is to get what you want. You have to be willing to accept that as well. Then the last thing that it does is when you make it. So this is a hard one to kind of efficiently define or state, but decision making makes things more clear. And this is what I mean. When I decide exactly what I want or what I want to do, sometimes the universe and God may have something different in store for you. And based upon your request, and once you see that your request will not be granted, right? And it's very obvious and clear to you, and maybe you got to go do something else, or you got to go somewhere else, or you're giving something else. Sometimes when you want something real bad and you don't get it and you get something else, that's kind of a sign that this is what you need. So it's kind of like when I teach my basketball players, I teach them a footwork that is so specific that it puts the defender in position. Let me go back. When I teach my basketball players, I'll teach them a footwork, and I say, I want you to put your foot right here, because when you put your foot right here in this specific spot, it forces the defender to give you a read. But if you put your foot here or here or here, now the defender doesn't necessarily have to read, because you're not really being aggressive. He doesn't. Your footwork isn't really creating an advantage. It's not being aggressive. It's not putting the defender in a position where they have to now read and respond. Now because your footwork is vague, they get a chance to be vague. So now the defender doesn't have to respond. So now when it's time for you to move forward, you don't really know what's open or not. Maybe some people who aren't basketball players may not get that analogy, but what I want to do with my footwork is I want to make my footwork very aggressive, very direct. I want to go in a certain direction so that makes my defender make a response. So when that defender makes a response, I know exactly what's available. If my defender doesn't move, I go in a straight line. If my defender sidesteps to take away my jab, then I go a different way. That's kind of what I want to do with the universe. I want to make my decisions so clear, so direct, and so strong and so full of authority and conviction that either I get what I want, I get an opportunity to get what I want, or I am shown that I need to get something else. I need to experience something else. And then it's a matter of my ability to be water. No, am I going to just keep on beating on the door? Right? I'm knocking on this door as hard as I can. I mean, my knuckles are bleeding and I'm just beating on this door. Am I going to continue to knock on the door, or am I going to adhere to the other door that I heard open behind me, turn around and look around and see that there's a better opportunity on the other side of this hall? Or am I going to keep knocking on this door? Sometimes when that door doesn't open and you really want to get inside, but there might be another door opening where the opportunity is even better. So that's when I got to be smart. I got to be like water. I just got to say, all right, let me just flow to the next destination and not be so forceful. Obviously, I want to get to where I want to get to, but once I see that a certain lane or a certain avenue has been shut down, I got to be able to move in a different way. And that's what I mean by when you make decisions and you make strong decisions. Although you're making a strong decision full of conviction, full of direction, full of authority, so on and so forth, but sometimes it is that force within the decision that can sometimes open you up to different avenues. But if I never ever make a decision at all, then the universe never moves. Now I don't know how to go. You see what I'm saying? So like if there are multiple avenues and I never really choose one, I'm not decisive about any one. Now I don't know how to move. But if there's 4 avenues and I choose this one and I take that avenue and I realize very quickly that avenue was shut off, now I know that these other 3 are available. Or maybe I realize that out of these 4 avenues, one is where I need to go, but I'm only going to figure that out if I charge in one direction versus the other. So I hope that makes sense, man. Make decisions and condition yourself to make decisions. Whether it's a 1 cent decision or some multi-million-dollar decisions, the people who are the happiest are the people who make decisions. Bottom line, they make decisions. And sometimes they don't make the best decisions, right? But they make their decisions right by learning the lesson. Sometimes you get a job, sometimes you get a car, sometimes you do something for your family, you do something for a friend, you take on a job, whatever the case may be, you do something and that decision, you think to yourself, I could have been a little bit more calculated about the decision that I made. And then what happens is if you just say, okay, let me learn from it. And now that's a situation is you don't have to go down. That's a situation you don't have to experience anymore because you learned the lesson. Now you're smarter. Now you're wiser. So I had a good friend named Candace. She says, life has wizened me. That's how you get wizened by life. By simply making decisions. Sometimes things don't go as the way that you plan. That's fine. Make it right by learning a lesson. And when it's all said and done, you can say, you know what? That's not what I planned. That's not what I planned on. It wasn't ideal, but everything that happened needed to happen because it has helped me to become stronger, faster, more explosive in this other area of life. So that's it, man. I hope you guys enjoyed Leslie Odom Jr. And I hope you enjoyed the podcast. I hope it makes sense to you. I'm gonna let you go. I've been doing these things pretty short. So and I had 3 points of contact. Gave you some stories, gave you some examples, gave you a basketball example. Hopefully that made sense. But I'm gonna be done, man. So let me go through my little ending. Greatness lives on the edge of death. I am not afraid to die. I will fight for my dreams. I will celebrate my dreams, and I will die for my dreams. Thoughts are things, and everything starts off as a thought first and springs from a place of mindfulness and clarity. Never ever waits an opportunity to make a decision, whether it's a 1 cent decision or it's a multi-million-dollar decision. All right? People who make decisions make themselves happy. Bottom line. My name is Marv Fikes Jr. You guys take care.
as you get back on your feet again. Everybody